Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the September 2nd Board of County Commissioners meeting. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first thing on our agenda are approval of our minutes. Do we have any additions or corrections, gentlemen?
No.
I do not.
Okay.
I move to approve the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners for Montezuma County held on Tuesday, August 26, 2025 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County for August 26, 2025. Is there any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Planning. Come on down. I don't see any.
We
Okay.
can handle it.
I think we can go ahead, even though they're not here. This is a pretty straightforward and simple. This being the time set aside for a public hearing for Mark Hedges Trust and our trust, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Candelaria.
Here.
Commissioner Lindsay.
Here.
Commissioner Copenhagen.
Here.
Administrator Anderson.
Here.
Attorney Tarnowski.
Here.
Kim Purcell, County Clerk. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for a review and determination of regarding a proposed subdivision amendment application to lots 4 and 5 of the Hartman Heights Subdivision, first amended submitted by Mark Hedges Trust and our trust, Agent Julie Suckla, on properties located at 9595 and to be determined Road 24.3, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 5.56 acres and 5.71 acres more or less, both located south of Road K.3, west of Highway 491, both situated in Section 27, Township 36 North, Range 16 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025, at 9 a.m. in the Commissioners' Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Office online services at https://montezuma-co.smartgovcommunity.com public home. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. Dated this 18th day of August 2025, Kim Purcell, Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado. Published in the Journal on Wednesday, August 20th, 2025.
Thank you, Kim. All right, Don, can you give us an overview on this, please?
Sure. So this is basically a common lot line adjustment between lot 4 and 5. Lot 4 would be obtaining or giving up property to lot 5. They're just trying to coordinate building sites and view sheds. Planning and zoning was voted to recommend it for approval 3-1. Their only recommendation was that lot 4 have a wider driveway entrance. It was first drawn up at about 20 feet, but they wanted it to have a wider entrance at the cul-de-sac, but the dirt contractor says that he's got plenty of room to make an access to get onto lot 4 from the cul-de-sac, so should be no issues there.
Questions?
Wasn't there
No,
another?
I tend to agree with P&Z about the wider access. I mean, you're down there at the end of a cul-de-sac, and if there is some sort of fire or hazard down there, goes off, emergency response vehicles going in and out, 22 feet's not very wide for passing each other. It's a little thin.
Is that the?
There's another drawing there,
Okay.
Travis. There, don't keep going. Other down.
Which one do you want?
That one.
Yeah.
So P and Z's recommendation was that it should be closer to 50 feet. But you're still only gonna have the width of a driveway,
Yeah.
same as any other lot, but
I don't think we have any restrictions on private driveways, do we? They're 12
No.
feet,
I don't think
typically
so.
14 feet wide.
correct. The cul-de-sac,
The
I'm
cul-de-sac is
assuming
supposed to be
is
the
built to
105-foot
118 feet.
diameter.
Uh-huh.
And reading this, both Lot 4 and 5 both agree on the new delineation of the property line?
Correct. Basically, it's just gonna be a little triangle piece that will go wider at the cul-de-sac and down to a point where that existing road is across Lot 4 and 5. So they are gonna adjust that boundary just a little bit to give a wider entrance there for Lot 4.
Okay.
But it's still only gonna be a driveway access, so. But if you need to bulldoze something, you can.
Looks like there's room.
Right. Lot 4 and 5 can be dealt with.
Okay. All right, Commissioner, have any questions? All right, well, with that,
Don't seem like it.
I will open up this application for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak for or against this application, come forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments, and you may address the board at this time. Okay, seeing no public comment, I'll close the public comment session of this application and bring it back to the board. Gentlemen?
I have nothing further. Gerald?
Is that cul-de-sac actually finished?
It doesn't look finished from that picture. It looks like it's kind of grown. I don't know if those are just shadows. It's kind of hard to tell if those are shadows or
I
if it's
think at the
actually-
bottom is a tree shadow, but, I mean, there's probably grown up some brush. That road was cut in there several years ago. And that may be a condition, is that, that cul-de-sac be regraded if and when a residence gets built on one lot or the other. And that's the plan, is Lot 5 is planning on building a residence.
It's really hard to tell from that photo.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem with it. It's fine.
Okay.
If you,
I move to approve the application for Lot 4 and 5 of the Hartman Heights Subdivision for Mark Hedges and our trust, Agent Julie Suckla, on property located at 9595 and to be determined Road 24.3 Cortez, consisting of 5.56 acres and 5.71 acres. I guess we'll be conveying 2 acres to the other lot?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Second.
all right, it's been moved and seconded to accept the proposed subdivision amendment application to lots 4 and 5 of the Hartman Heights subdivision. First amendment submitted by Mark Hedges Trust and our trust, Agent Julie Suckla, on properties located at 9595 and TBD Road 24.3, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 5.56 acres and 5.71 acres, more or less. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it has been approved, and I'll close this public hearing.
That's all we have for today. Unless
That's
have
all you
questions.
have?
Yep.
All
Unless you
right.
have questions.
None at this time.
All right. We'll move out then.
None
Thanks.
at this time. Thank you, guys. All right, public comments. The public comment portion of the agenda provides the public an opportunity to speak to the Board of Commissioners about issues that are not on the main agenda. Testimony relating to scheduled agenda items will not be allowed during public comment. Rules or decorum will be strictly enforced. Outbursts and interruptions from any person in the hearing room, including shouting, clapping, booing, laughing, or other reactions to the proceedings, are prohibited. Any comments from the public shall only be made by persons who are residents of Montezuma County and who have been recognized by the chair, who are speaking into the microphone, and only after they have stated their name and address for the record. Each person will have 3 minutes to comment, and no speaker may yield their time at all to another. Comments shall only be made to the board. No comments or questions shall be directed to staff or other members of the public. And with that, the public comment session is open. The chair recognizes Lynetta Shaw.
Good morning, Board. My name is Lynetta Scholl, and I reside at 27590 Road R, Dolores, Colorado. I am here today to clarify a point or a comment that was made during public comment last week concerning non-tax-paying Native Americans. That is a constitutional label. That is not your label that you have applied there. And they are counted in the census, but not in the traditional sense. So if you know anything about a census, it's based off of taxes, and they are counted that way. There is a formula for census that can include different avenues in that formula. And in Colorado, that formula is even more extensive on how each county gets their funding. It is kind of like a school funding or budgetary process, and it's no different. Those, when you don't pay taxes, it's hard to capture the correct number of your population in your counties. It's the same as illegal immigrants. My point was that we have a larger population of Native Americans in our county who rely on services that are provided by the county. And I think it's only fair that the state realizes that so that we get our equal portion of funding for Montezuma County. That is my point concerning the counting and the census. There are 7 components to the state funding process. Some of those people will be gathered in because they use Medicaid, I have a full list here, they use transportation, roads. What I thought was interesting is how many roads are in your county. Montezuma County has 1,000 roads, 1,000 miles of roads that is considered into that formula. Public health is another component of that. And interestingly enough, education is also a part of that formula. Although the counties do not receive any fundings for education, but it is reflected in tax evaluations. Part of number 5 on that formula is justice, courts, and jails. So that is something that is in that funding process. And when we have a population like we do, sometimes those are not counted accurately. Energy and natural resources impact funds, which is DOLA, which is handled by DOLA, and that affects us as well because of Kinder Morgan. So, and there are other state programs. And my final comment is Montezuma County should not be penalized in funding because a portion of our residents are excluded from the census counts, the traditional census count. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. All right, seeing no other public comment, I'll close the public comment session of this meeting, and we will go right straight into New items needing individual consideration. With the first item is the supplemental budget request for the iSolve software. Dennis Bug, Miranda, Warren, come on down. Are you going to roll both of these kind of together or individually?
However you want to do it.
Okay. Well, then we will be talking about two. We'll also be talking about the iSolve payroll software contract. So we'll be talking about two items collectively. Okay, go ahead.
So we're requesting a budget adjustment to purchase the software. And after talking to Attorney Tarnowski, he advised that we should do the adjustment for the full contract, which is the 2 years, to allot the money for both, since it is a 2-year contract. There is a slight difference in the 2 years only because the first year you do have the deployment fee. So it's very minimal. It's only like $4,700. So there's a slight difference between year 1 and year 2, but the total would come to the $102,850 for 2 years to do the software.
So that number's changed just from the first time we talked about this? It didn't change at all?
No, the difference is that the annual cost is no different. I think it just came down to the fact of the adjustment needs to be, since, and I'll let you speak, Stephen, is just that.
So it's covering the 2-year contract?
Correct.
Okay. But the 102,850 is the same?
The 102,850 for the 2 years is the same. It's just
Okay.
that instead of just asking for the first year only.
Yeah, no, I guess I'll jump in here. Commissioners, the issue with the way that the contract is structured is that it is a 2-year contract, and so as a board, local government organization in Colorado, you can't commit future monies. And so if we're going to do a multi-year contract, it either has to have an opt-out ability each year, or the money for the full length of the contract needs to be appropriated up front. And so that's what we're proposing here, is that the full contract amount for the 2-year contract be appropriated at once, at the outset.
Okay.
And I thought we did have an opt-out, though, in the second year.
So if there is, then the money wouldn't need to be
Maybe it
appropriated all
doesn't.
at once.
I don't remember, because so from your look at it, you didn't see one.
It's been a while since I've
Okay.
looked at it. I don't remember exactly
Yeah.
what it says.
So that's why that's the number difference. It's just that it's 2 years instead of 1. If you break it down, the cost is identical except for the first year. There's a $4,750 initial setup fee. That's a one-time fee with all
Right.
software. Yeah.
Questions?
Tested this in any way? Looked at it?
Yeah, so actually, the DA's office actually runs a version of it. They
Okay.
don't have the full version, and that we've looked at some other places that do run it. And basically, all of these softwares basically do the same thing, just depending on what you're wanting to do and how complicated you want it to be. The biggest thing is this specific software we know also ties in with other things that we're trying to get done. So we know that it'll do all the different aspects of what we're trying to accomplish. This will take us completely from pretty much from being all paper to almost completely electronic. It's a single stop, which will allow our employees to not only onboard, export out of it, but also allow them to do their annual insurance, like medical insurance onboarding, so renewal. Everything is dumped into one spot. It actually logs you in. When you log into your computer every day, it logs you into that system. So it takes care of doing all of your payroll, it takes care of all your time. Gives our employees access to everything, so they're like, if they want to go get a loan, they can actually pull up their own paperwork. They don't have to contact us. It does everything that you would do in a modern system, but it also ties back with the insurance companies and gives us full functionality that way. So it is a one-stop shop. So that way our employees don't have to have 4 different softwares, one to onboard, one to do payroll, one to do their insurance. It basically consolidates everything into one place. So it will save us as staff a lot of time, but it'll also make it easier for the employee to go get what they need. So if you were to change, like say an address, you need to change your W-4. Right now, you have to email us, you have to fill it out, you have to get it back to us, we got to put it in the system, we have to verify it. This way the employee can just pull it up change it, and it just lets us know that you did change it, and everything's done automatically. It's just the convenience of giving the employee the current functionality of typically what you see in a payroll software also.
In this software, we're creating a lot of avenues for the employee, but what about security from outside bad people?
Same, I mean, everybody has their portion of it. Also comes down to, and we've talked to Jim, a lot of it still is on our portion too of how you access in and out. So irregardless of, and they have us talking to Jim, their system is as good as it gets, but it's just as much our problem as it is their problem too. So, but from their portion, they fit the bill of being where they need to be. But half of that is, what system do we have in place? Because we're the one controlling any data that would be going in and out, right? Also, right?
So since the first time that you presented this to us in a workshop.
Correct,
I don't know,
months ago.
Several months
Yeah.
ago.
Yep.
And you've had your workshops with them or whatever you guys were doing and taking care of it. And then Stephen, you've had the opportunity to look at the contract. Is there any real significant changes to it at all? or
None.
Pretty much
None.
just the same as.
No,
what
the
we
only
were
thing
presenting?
is we had only initially looked at certain services that they offer, because that's all we were really interested at the time, and then there was some conversation of some extended services, that if we ever wanted to go to an extension of this, and they do offer like full service, like full HR services, other services. So it's not just the payroll portion. So that's the only thing that has changed, but we didn't ask for any bids on that, because we weren't looking at that at this point. But we just wanted to confirm that if we wanted to add even more service level into it, they have the ability to do that.
But we have a 2-year contract, so if we think it's working out great, we can add it, and if we think it's not, in 2 years, we can terminate.
Go to
it,
somebody
correct?
else.
Okay.
And the thing is, it really is, and the thing about software is every company has an annual fee and every company has a setup fee. So regardless of the software you go with at this point, you're looking pretty much at the same cost, if not more, depending on what you want out of it. The only thing that you're gonna be out is the initial setup fee, but the transition fee the first time is much more difficult because we're going from a much more primitive system to a much more advanced system. So if we were to ever change again, say for some reason in 3 years, we decided we needed to go way big with something for some reason and start incorporating other things into it, the data is going to be there. That's going to be much easier to migrate because it's already been put into a more complex system, to where now we're having to drag some stuff out of some tougher places to get the data in. So, because you're always going to have the reoccurring fee, and like I said, the difference is it's $4,700 is at the first year.
Right.
Yeah. And pretty much at every software that we've looked at, I mean, the annual cost is pretty much the same, with negligible within, say, $10,000. Yeah. So.
Question?
I'm good now.
Okay.
And this does our W-2s at the end of the year, takes care of everything. Yeah. And reports to ACA, does all our ACA reporting. So it does a lot of stuff for us. Pay stubs, yeah.
Okay, I would so move we approve the supplemental budget request 2025 pursuant to 29-1-106 and 29-1-109 Colorado revised statutes in the amount of $102,850.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the supplemental budget request 2025 pursuant to 29-1-106 and 29-1-109 for the Colorado Revised Statute in the amount of $102,850 for new payroll software. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Now, we'll talk about, we gotta sign them both? Okay, go ahead, Dennis.
Okay, so next.
Yep.
So we're asking to move our work comp insurance to Acrisure. There's nothing, I want to understand, it's not an issue with the insurance itself or the broker itself. It's just we have only been taking advantage of about 10% of all of the services that are available to us through any broker, if not, if less. And it is just a deal at this point to try and capture everything into one system and be able to get as much help with everything that we need to take care of from the legal side and all the paperwork side, is the best way to explain it. So it is a requested just move, just the work compensation insurance. The letter you have before you is a letter that was written up and looked at by legal, is a way to move that insurance.
Stephen, you have,
And this is language from the broker that we're moving to, essentially. This is what they say they need to work with our old insurance and migrate our stuff over, as I understand it.
Right.
So this isn't something I drafted, but, you know, I just read it and can confirm that, you know, that's what it does. And I would just defer to them, you know, they're the ones that need to do this migration of our information if this is what we're gonna do, so I rely on their, you know, knowledge of how to do this, and so sounds like this is what we need to do as a practical matter, really, to migrate that insurance over.
so we're with Pinnacle right now, correct? Is that correct? And so is there a cost savings to do this migration, or what?
Could be.
Or is it
It's
just-
more of, and it has nothing to do with the current broker.
Right,
It has to do with the free services that we're using. That's where most of the cost savings is initially, because the number is set for this year no matter what. It doesn't matter, I mean, because we're doing it now just to try and merge this all together at one time. Until insurance were to be redone at the beginning of the year, then it wouldn't matter how many or if anything that we moved, it would just get migrated from a broker to a broker. And then it would be at the renewal time that we could possibly see savings. But we'd also be bundling more into that deal. It's kind of like doing but I don't know. My understanding, it will not go up at all, and it could have a possible savings possibly, but like I said, it's not so much for that. And that's why we're only requesting to move the work comp, not everything else. Is to just try and bundle in to get the services that we're getting for free through the other broker to help fix issues that we need to take care of.
what other services? What,
Well, so right now, so what we get is we get all the stuff as far as like, we can even dump, what's it called, Employers Council? So we even have the ability to probably dump Employers Council and have that cost savings with the attorney back set that they have available that we can do as an on-need basis instead of prepaying like we do right now with Employers Council. To have that available, we have to prepay it up in front. And a lot of times we're not even using it. I think there's a lot of years we haven't used it at all. So we're prepaying something that we don't even use. And then the access to HR administration to help us with all the administrative things as far as questions. If I have any question on the legality, if it's not going through Stephen, it may have to go above that. Then it goes into their set, and then if it goes into a higher level, then we just pay the usage as we need it instead of prepaying. And so, and they have access to all different softwares we've been using, like when we did the handbook, anything that we had a question with that has the ability to go in, you just put the state in, and then it basically creates like an AI or a wordsmith version that uses all the Colorado and federal law, and then you pull that out of there and then use that to put in your handbook. So the current handbook that you have right now to look at, everything that's in there in yellow all came out of that free software. So it saves just all the different types of services they have. And we haven't even gotten into any of them, some of them, because we just haven't had time to get there, or they don't offer them all to us depending on what we have insured with them. So if that helps, I don't know how much farther to go. But, so it really is just, we've only been utilizing less than 10% of their services. And so we're really trying to take advantage because they're free to us. And so where we're trying to fill in all the holes of issues that we have, of things that we just need to work on, we're trying to do it through this system, so that way we know that it meets the intent of the federal and state law, and that we're also getting it done for something we're already paying for, so to speak. and not having to have additional cost.
Okay, so are we paying additional costs through Pinnacle? Or we're just not?
The Pinnacle Insurance, and we have to ask, because I know Bentley's here, is the insurance is not going to change. It's just going to be who the broker that that deals with the insurance company for right now. Because it's in a cycle of a year where they're not going to change the insurance. It's just the oversight. Then, because it is through that broker, then we now get additional services from them that would give us where we're going to see some savings. One of which is we could dump Employers Council also, which is like how much?
I say 14,000?
Yeah. And then we could have services as needed. So if we have a year we don't need any of that level of questions by an attorney, we don't pay for anything. But we're not just paying for it to have the service available. So it's just, from my side, it's just everywhere I can look, it keeps trying to save the money to still have the same access to the same services or more, and then trying,
And I get that, but I'm not seeing it, I'm not seeing a dollar figure associated with it. That's
there
why
isn't a
I'm-
dollar figure with this.
Right, because we're just migrating.
It
the
just
two
gives us
brokers right
access,
now.
and then
So
we can
don't
dump.
know. We don't know
Correct.
until the end of the year or the beginning of the year what our mod rates are, basically to know what
With
we're
any,
gonna
I mean, I don't
pay
know what's
from
gonna
one or
happen.
the other.
And Bentley might be able to answer, but I don't know what they'll do under any broker, because they could all go up. I don't know. But it's like, for us, and I would assume with any broker, is the fact that the more you have put together, then
So-
you get discounts, too.
I guess,
So
I
I
guess
don't-
we can do
yeah.
this today or we can wait for a workshop, but,
Yeah,
because this is just changing, just workman's comp,
yep,
strictly just workman's comp.
just workman's comp,
And we're just changing brokers.
correct.
And the broker we have now for workman's comp, where are they at?
What do you mean?
Or where, they have an office locally?
Yeah, in these,
Okay.
Our local broker is
Yeah.
here, Pinnacle is a
Yeah.
state.
Yeah.
state
Pinnacle is the
organization,
insurance,
correct?
the insurer,
Okay.
the broker, right?
Come on down, Bentley,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put you in front of the audience now.
Yeah, because there's.
Sorry. I get leery, and this is an
No,
insurance
no,
thing.
I
Every
don't,
time
no.
we go to changing insurances, whether it's health, workman's comp,
Sure.
whatever, so
Yep.
I guess my question to you, since you're a broker for Pinnacle, what's the advantage or what's the disadvantages or
Yeah.
what are the pros and, I guess,
Right, right.
I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but,
And that's okay. I got a call from these guys last Friday, and, basically, and I appreciate the phone call letting me know that this was gonna come in before you guys. As far as the company and the services that Pinnacle provides and the account that you have, none of that's gonna change. Basically, all this is doing is taking the broker from our company, from Mountain West, from my company, to Acrisure. And they would be handling that. I guess, the things that I would have to research a little more, and I tried to do a little more on Acrisure, would be, if you don't move, is there an additional cost to you? Are the services actually, do they have anything to do with the work comp insurance? I mean, just some questions that you'd have to have, but as far as your service, your claims, your pricing, the availability right now is us, Mountain West. I don't think any of that's gonna change for you, or would change. And as far as renewals, comp rates are set pretty much by the state. The entity or the company, which would be Montezuma County, its renewal rates will be based on, your history, your experience factor, your mod rate,
Yeah.
and then what state does with rates itself. I can tell you, we are the largest comp writer with Pinnacle in the state of Colorado, Mountain West is. I don't know if that gives us any perks, but I do know we have some clout with them. But, I'm just the local guy. I think we can still offer the same services as far as the insurance goes, and I think that's really all we're talking about here.
And it has nothing to do with the service. I mean, I
Right.
need to make sure that there's no qualm there. It really has to come down to once we go to ISOL and how it's dealt with in there, it would just be easier for us to do it with Acrisure, with the software for everything that happens, one. And two, it does give us access to other services that I think we could probably do some stuff with Mountain West. It's just, all I'm looking at it is I know we get from them, we have the ability to do some different things like get rid of, because they do have such a large lawyer backside, that we do have services available that we could dump some services. So that's really, and then it's just a one-stop deal for everybody, including supervisors, to deal with when it comes to all of this in the software and stuff. So,
So I'm gonna ask a question,
yeah,
so workman's comp,
yep,
so claims.
yep.
It seems like we get our
Our fair share.
fair share of them, and we get,
Yeah, probably one a month on
so,
average.
so they have a bigger attorney staff. Does that mean we're gonna have a bigger attorney staff fight some of these claims that are maybe not, I'm trying to be
Yeah.
politically correct here.
That I haven't asked, in that specific language.
I mean, because that's really my question. We dump a lot of money to a lot of
Yes.
claims that are, in my opinion, extremely frivolous.
System is
Is that
what
an
it is,
advantage?
right?
I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with that, but I mean, the system is set up as it is. I would have to ask them that.
Yeah, and
so here's what I'm gonna recommend, just because obviously we haven't had a workshop on this one
Correct.
at all, and I think there's way too many questions to
Sure.
be asked right now and answered, so, I would say we put this on the workshop for next week and
Yeah.
go a little bit farther, if you guys are okay with that?
Yeah.
Just
It'll have
because
time.
I'm not.
It'll be 2
I'm-
weeks out, because next week we have.
That's fine.
workshop for budget.
2 weeks out. It's just a migration if we do decide to do it.
Yep.
Okay.
And here again, the whole insurance thing, anytime we start changing,
Sure.
it
No
seems like
problem. I have
it
no issue with that
affects
at all. I mean, yeah, I don't, yeah.
a lot of people, so I'd like to
Sure.
put it to workshop and invite you back also,
Okay.
Bentley, so,
Yeah.
if you guys are okay with that.
You have a date, Travis?
We can just table
It'll
this
have to
one.
be the 16th.
16? Okay.
15th would be a workshop.
15th, yeah,
9:15.
workshop, sorry.
15th.
What time?
That's at 1?
1:30.
1:30.
We can stay with that.
Okay.
Move we table the discussion and possible decision related to insurance brokerage workman's comp to September 15th, 1:30.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to table the discussion and possible decision related to the insurance brokerage workman's comp to 9:15 at 1:30. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
perfect. Yep.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, I see Ms. Hargrave just walked in the room. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right.
So you have in front of you the contract for promoting safe and stable families, which is a grant. This is the last year of a 5-year cycle. They reauthorize it every year if you're doing well. So you can see attached to it scope of work, the budget. It's $200,000 budget. It is a regional contract, so the department is the fiscal agent, and we contract all services out with Archuleta, La Plata, and Pinion Project. The intent of this funding is to help ensure children go home faster or remain with kin.
So this would be the 5th year then? This is the final year of this contract?
Yes.
Is that-
October 1st is the beginning of the final year.
Okay. Questions?
No.
Okay. Anything else?
No, not that I know of.
All
I was
right.
just here.
This is the beginning of it, that's just the signature. Sorry.
I move to approve this agreement modification between the Intergovernmental Agreement Amendment Number 6 between the Colorado Department of Early Childhood and Montezuma County Department of Social Services for fiscal year 2026 in the amount of $200,000.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept and sign the agreement modification intergovernmental agreement amendment number 6 between the Colorado Department of Early Childhood and Montezuma County Department of Social Services in the amount of $200,000 for FY 2026. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Okay, next up, Ms. Locke, Ms. Schaefer. Come on down. Or stand
Good
up.
morning. Good morning. So we're just here today to talk about the OPHP preventative block grant. This would be our second year in applying for it. We don't have an amount yet. One of our very first deliverables would be writing the budget for the amount that we're awarded. We are going to ask for the full $25,000. So we'll see what, last year we asked for $25,000 and we were awarded $11,000. We use this money to help us with our community health assessment and also with our prevention efforts based on our community health assessments through our Healthy Montezuma Coalition. And this year, the only thing different we're going to be doing is adding the health fair into that. We do have a meeting this Thursday with the hospital, so we're going to start those discussions this week. And the other thing that we will be adding to this application, excuse me, this year will be our Dolores County partnership. So we're kind of working on that right now and just kind of seeing how there are a couple other counties in the state that are partnered, and they're needing our support right now, and some things are coming up, and we're spending a little bit more time with them, and so just kind of exploring what that could look like if it might turn into a long-term thing. So we're going to add some of that in there, so, yeah. Any
Okay.
other questions?
For those people out here, Health Department we've had a meeting and we discussed resurrecting the health fair, which I think was a pretty popular thing in Montezuma County. I know I liked it. And so we're exploring, and I use that term very specifically, we're exploring this idea to see if we can't bring this back because it was such a good event for the county. So any help, I think, would surely be appreciated.
Yes, I agree, and we definitely want the hospital in our corner to be able to do that with their lab services. So I'm sure our conversation will go well this week. I think they're on board too, so hopefully. Yeah,
Okay.
Thank you.
so thank you.
Thank you, Lauren.
Yeah.
I move to approve this Montezuma County grant application submission form for Montezuma County Public Health Department for the OPHP Preventative Block Grant through CDPHE in the amount of $25,000 with no cash max.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the Montezuma County grant application submission form for the Public Health Department for the OPHP Preventive Block Grant in the amount of $25,000 with no cash match. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. Next up, we had a request, which not 100% sure how this ever happened, that we have um, an entire board that's basically an elected board that, unless I read that wrong, but I'm gonna let you go over this.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, this was brought to my attention by Keenan Lovett, who's working with the Lewis Areola Fire Protection District. Essentially, the board has been operating under the framework that they thought they had complied with all the election requirements. And then fairly recently, they were notified by the state that due to really a technical error of how they were going about the elections, none of their board members are properly elected. And so the board is really not able to function in light of this information. And when there are no board members and the board is not able to operate like this, there is a provision in the Colorado Revised Statute for vacancies where commissioners of the county where the boards are have the ability to appoint all directors from a pool of duly qualified willing candidates. So in this instance, the members of the board, as it was before they learned that there had been a technical error, they've all asked to be appointed to the board of the Fire Protection District on this temporary basis. After they're appointed, they would have obligations to go through the elections process fairly quickly. But the specific agenda item today is really that we've got this situation where the board is not duly elected, and so for the board to continue operating and running the Fire Protection District, these individuals would need to be appointed by the Board of County Commissioners. And so they have provided letters of interest for the board in support of their appointment to this vacancy, again, which was really in each case a seat that they thought that they were elected to, except for this technicality.
Except for they didn't go through the election process.
Well, they thought they did it right, but they were informed that they did not do it exactly right.
So my only question is, I mean, if we appoint all of them, do we have to designate like a one-year term so that they're not all up at the same time? Are they staggered at all, or?
So the way that it works is, and I'm just looking at the statute here, so
They have to hold a
Then we have to have a special election.
yeah, the board appointed pursuant to this subsection shall call for nominations for a special election within 6 months after their appointment, which special election is to be held in accordance with these other parts of the Colorado Revised Statute. And so that's really how it works practically. Once they're appointed, is they have to go through that special election process. I think the appointment today is really just kind of an emergency appointment so that the board can continue to operate pending these special elections.
And then they'll figure that out as they go. So for us, it's just the 6 months.
Right, I talked to Keenan a little bit about, they're obviously needing to follow up on that special election process, and they've worked that out, and we talked about that this would be a good date, because there's certain times when you can have these elections that September 2nd works for what they're planning as far as the compliance for their obligations under the statute to hold this special election. And just for the board's benefit, the 5 individuals who submitted letters of interest were Michael Higman, Bill Blackmer, Rick Newby, Dustin Noyes, and Douglas Muscanel.
Was it, I don't want to open this whole up, but did they have to public notice this to get other applicants to see if they wanted to be appointed? Because it says a pool of duly qualified and willing candidates. Did this happen? I mean, I don't I can understand from their point, they want to just keep going with what they have, but
Not to my knowledge.
is it required? I don't know.
That is a good question. I didn't specifically look into that issue. The way this was really brought to my attention was that there is essentially, or there was until very recently, this board.
Yes.
And so those are the individuals who were who were keen and sent along to me basically on behalf of the district for this vacancy
Right.
appointment. I don't know the answer to your specific question right now.
I think I get where you're going, but at this point in time, as
Yeah, we don't
difficult
want-
as it is
To get board members.
to get board members of any type, anywhere,
Yeah.
I think the best thing to do is just appoint them. They're already there, we have the letters of intent, and then in 6 months, they actually have to go through the process.
Yeah, for the, one other thing I'll say is in my conversations with with Keenan on behalf of the Fire Protection District, I understand that essentially all of these board members were unopposed
Okay.
in their original,
Yeah.
election, and that's where the process, that's where they didn't have perfect compliance with the process, as I understand. There's some specific requirements for when you're running unopposed, and that's, some of those technicalities are why technically, there's no duly elected board members currently.
Okay, what were the names again? Mike
I
Higman,
got
Doug
it.
Muscanell?
I got it here.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Go ahead, Gerald.
Go ahead.
I move to appoint to the Lewis Areola Fire Department Board Doug Muscanell, Dustin Noyes, Rick Newby, Michael Higman, and Bill Blackmer until a special election can be held to fill this board.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint to the Lewis Areola Fire Protection District as board members Doug Muscanell, Dustin Noyes, Rick Newby, Michael Higman, Bill Blackmer, until the next duly election can be held. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I don't think there's any,
It does make one question the state, whether they missed this or didn't put this out, given some of their history of elections.
all right, looks like we do have an executive session, but I'm gonna go ahead and go to the reports. And then we'll go into executive session, if that's all right with you guys. All right,
Yes.
Mr. Tarnowski.
Commissioners, I gave a pretty comprehensive update at our last meeting about all the different things we've got going on. This week, some big items on my calendar. We've got a couple afternoons in court here for the rest of this short week. We've also got our answer due on Thursday on the Leaf Properties case, so we're finishing that up. Looking ahead to next week, we've got a jury trial Tuesday through Thursday for one of our child protection cases. So we're working on being ready to go on that front too. Otherwise, I don't have too much of an update beyond what I reported last week. I think just with the holiday, there wasn't a whole lot of development on any of our pending civil issues.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Anderson.
Pretty busy week. We do have the IGA for the Dolores County VSO out to them. And I'll be getting it probably to you today for review. Pretty simple, but hopefully we'll be able to help absorb some of the Dolores County veterans. Attended a town hall meeting in Dolores regarding the sheriff's contract. Rule 31 is still living in amongst us, so see where that goes. The FBI is requesting use of our range for one day on September 10th, so trying to figure the logistics out for that one. Attended the evening meeting with Congressman Hurd. However, obviously due to medical issues, he was unable to attend, and just still reviewing some of the collective bargaining information.
Oh, could I follow up on the Regulation 31 issue?
Sure.
I just wanted to, thanks for bringing that up, Travis. I was not able to participate in the actual rulemaking session that was, I think, the week before last now, but I did participate in kind of a debrief with our partners, other public landfills across the state. And the big thing is that the commission did not reach their decision, and so they continued it to the next quarterly meeting, which is going to be towards the end of the year. At this time, they've closed evidence, so they're not, going to be receiving more evidence. Seems like they're just going to come out and discuss at their next meeting kind of what they thought about all the different provisions that are proposed from the different groups, including the Air Quality Control Division, who are recommending this rule. And then I learned that apparently the way this works, having not participated in this before, is that the commission's going to go through each kind of line of the proposed regulation and vote on individual items that are part of this regulation. So there's still a lot of ways that they could decide which parts of this rule to adopt. And ultimately, at this point, with evidence being closed, it's really just a matter of waiting till the end of the year and seeing what kind of rule this ends up being.
Okay. More news to come. Hopefully we get through this one and we'll be okay with the size of our landfill, but more to come, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Ms. Purcell, do you have anything?
Just wanted to basically tell you about our training last week. We spent several days, 3 days up in Salida doing election training with the Secretary of State's office. Both Diane and I were up there. It was a good training. We learned a lot, brought home lots of notes, and we'll go from there. That's
All right, thank you. All right, Commissioner Copenhaver.
This past week, I attended the meeting at Southwest in Durango on Thursday. We had some discussion about Colorado River issues. Also about, to get back to Kent's question about the Shoshone water rights, we had some discussion about that there, and where they're short the 40 million was basically what was coming out of the Inflation Reduction Act, and that all got froze, so they don't know where that's at right now. And so basically that's kind of on a holding pattern until they figure out what's being released. Lots of the different funding for out of the Bureau of Reclamation has been held up, and see when those funds get released. Several of the different projects that NVI even has we're basically on hold until we get those, figure out whether they're going to release those funds or not. For these Water Smart grants have been going on for a long, long time. They're basically held up all of that. So it's until that gets all straightened out, who knows where those projects are going to go or get funded or not get funded. So they're kind of on hold right now. We are starting to, I think actually today, they're starting to grout the dam went up to fix that dam restriction that we've got on there. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we can get that leak fixed. Like I said before, we are going to drain. They're going up down to figure out what's wrong with the gate. Well, we can't shut it completely off. While we've got it drained down that far, we're going to go ahead and take it on down. So I don't know where he's at exactly with that, but we're going to try to get that done. For those people on MVI, probably sometime around the 1st of October, we're going to be deciding how long the water will last, but it looks like right now we're gonna make it till the 1st of October at least. So a lot of that just depends on whether we get some rain and helps the river out or not. But that's where we're at right now. So,
Is there open fishing at Narragansett? You can go out, is there a limit, or did they take the limit off, or do you know? I
you
thought
know,
I seen that somewhere, but I couldn't.
That'd be the
They were-
CPW, right?
the fishing game did put out a statement on it, but I would hate to,
Yeah,
they were talking about you not being able to take them and transfer them to a different body of water. But I'm not sure if they took a limit off, or
okay.
I shouldn't say,
So
because I don't know
you
that.
can't take those fish and transfer them to another body of water. But yet they were up in the hills getting cutthroat trout out and saving them and putting them somewhere.
I
I,
don't know.
Okay. Commissioner Lindsay.
We did meet with, we were going to have a meeting and talk to Senator Hurd about some issues, but one of his staff had a problem down south and they couldn't make it up there. So we turned that meeting into sort of a community meeting. And we had quite the lively crowd there. And so I thought it was a pretty good question and answering session. Other than that, went to city council the other night, and they've got an $8 million grant to finish their runway out there and resurface and do some other stuff. But they are kind of looking for a new fire truck. It seems there's a little past the 15-year cutoff date for fire trucks at airports. So that's one of the highlights from the city. Other than that, we're going on doing our business.
Okay, the only thing that I want to highlight too is that we did have somewhat of an energized crowd Wednesday night, and it actually turned out to be okay. But this was never advertised as a town hall, and it never was supposed to be a town hall. It was nothing more than conversation between the commissioners and Congressman Hurd. So, not sure how that got so goofed up or switched around, but you know, when somebody has a medical emergency, they get a free pass. No matter who you are, you get a free pass. And I stated that Wednesday night, so enough with that. My report today is going to be strictly addressing the social media misinformation. I'll let everybody jump in on this. And I just want to say, and I think that anybody in this room or that's even tried to come in this room because they're actually interested in hearing what the information actually is, instead of just going, and all you keyboard warriors get fired up, get your computers out, get your keyboards warmed up, because that's all you guys do is create misinformation, hate, and discontent, and it's unsettling. It's extremely unsettling. We have done more to be transparent. We have coffee with the county. We have traveling town halls, and we did an impromptu just the other night. But when you start calling us names and the things that you're doing, you know, Mr. Compton, Miss Hampton, Miss Nowlin, Miss Devers, Mr. Dixon, Miss Reeds, this board is being absolutely transparent. There are different buckets of money that we use, and if you want to know, come to a meeting. Because basically, most people strive to live in an echo chamber of confirmation and bias. And I believe, this is just my belief, and genuinely believe it, that most people don't even have a rudimentary understanding of our government structure. Not even a rudimentary understanding of our government structure, but yet they are out to curse us and cut us in every shape, fashion, or form. It's unappreciated. That's why we can't get people to serve on any boards anywhere, because the people out there are just throwing daggers, unfounded. I'm going to stop with that.
Travis, you want?
Do you have anything?
No.
No, I know, there's been discussion about our Facebook. I think it was designed or implemented when we had COVID.
Yeah.
It's up to the board how we want to proceed, if you want to keep it going, or we can just totally shut it off.
To me, I think it's a platform to inform the public of what's going on, what's up there and out there, incidents and stuff like that. But I don't want to create a public forum or platform for this kind of divisiveness. And I mean, some of the name calling that was going on, I think we just turn the comments off. I mean, but for me personally, one of the things that really caught my mind was a comment about limiting people's constitutional right to run for office. That's incredible. I mean, this is a democratic republic up here. You have that right, and nobody should be saying that we take that right away. I'm like you, I'll stop. But one more thing.
So let me make something else on that point, because I was accused of having some sort of a development in this whole process, which is absolutely bullshit. And if anybody would do their research, I understand there's a difference of being stupid or ignorant, but the ignorance is out there and it's in abundance because you won't do your own research to look up anything to know before you get behind your keyboard. And the keyboard warriors, I hope you're out there just dancing and having a great time. Fire it up and get it going because you are ignorant, absolutely ignorant. I have no initiatives with any developments anywhere in this county or in this city. Anyway, I'm done.
I have one more thing. There's people in this community who are trained and look upon digital enhancement and podcasts. And the one visual that was put out there on YouTube was one of the biggest pieces, a hit piece that I've seen in a long time. That was AI generated totally. If you disagree with me, I encourage you to bring that person in here to face us right here and right now. If you can't produce the evidence of what you're speaking, don't speak. Because it doesn't do anybody any good.
Okay, with that.
Yeah, Commissioners, I've got some issues I'd like to speak to the board about in executive session. Specifically, I've got two topics. One is the contract for law enforcement services with the town of Dolores, and the other is our HR policies and oversight. Both of these items, it's my opinion that they do constitute legal advice for the board and they would be privileged. Therefore, I don't believe that these executive sessions would need to be recorded. The persons present for this executive session would be Mr. Anderson, myself, the commissioners, the clerk, and then potentially Dennis Bugg and Rob Dobry would participate in our conversation a little bit about human resource policies and county oversight and how we do that. So that would be my recommendation to the board, that the board move to go into executive session pursuant to CRS 24640224B.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to enter into executive session for a conference with the attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions under CRS section 24-6-4024B. Included in that session would be clerk and recorder Ms. Purcell, Commissioners Copenhaver, Candelaria, and Lindsay, Attorney Tarnowski, Administrator Anderson, and the potential of Dennis Bugg and Rob Dobry. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Yeah.
Move us out of executive session.
I so move, we come out of executive session.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to exit executive session and resume our regularly scheduled Board of County Commissioners meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, with that,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded to adjourn this September 2nd, 2025 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.